Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the third and final social equity and excise fees public hearings. My name is Tony Ann Blake. I am the communications director here at the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission. I want to welcome everybody who's taking the time today to attend, to listen, or to register your recommendation for what is to be done with seed funds. I and the NJCRC staff listening in today look forward to hearing and taking record of your recommendations for the use of C funds that will have the most positive impact on our communities. First, I will briefly review what CEF is and what the funds can be used for, and then we will open the floor for our registered speakers. So these hearings, the funds we will discuss, and are all mandated by the Cannabis Regulatory Enforcement Assistance and Marketplace Modernization Act, which is the presiding legislation for legalizing adult use cannabis. So recreational, not medicinal, but recreational cannabis sales in New Jersey generates dollars for two funds. The first of which is the Cannabis Regulatory Enforcement Assistance and Marketplace Modernization Fund. I'm going to refer to that as the CREAM Fund going forward, so I don't bite my tongue. The CREAM Fund comes from all fees and penalties, all tax revenue on retail sales collected by the commission. It had, except for revenue for the social equity excise fee. The CREAM fund is appropriated annually, and at least 70% of that is used for grants, loans, and other financial assistance for impact zones. A full list of our impact zones is on our website for your review. It also can be used for regulatory administrative costs for cannabis regulation. Number two, which is the one that we're here to talk about today, is the Social Equity Excise Fee Fund, and that is imposed on the cultivation of recreational cannabis. It should be used annually for appropriations in social equity investments, and that is what we are here to talk about today. You, the public, has the opportunity in this avenue to make recommendations for what should be those social equity investments. So your role is to share your ideas here today for how the funds raised by the C funds will be used. Our role is to host these hearings and to write a report representing your ideas and make those recommendations to the governor and the legislature. Prior reports from previously held hearings are also available for review on our website. So about these CEF dollars, we already said it's imposed on cannabis cultivation. It is paid by cannabis businesses on the sales of usable cannabis sales from any class to another class. So how much money are we talking about? The fee for these sales is 1/3 of 1% of average retail price per ounce for the prior year. So average retail price per ounce in 2023 was $373. So the social equity excise fee for 2024 is $1.24 per ounce. For 2023, the amount that was raised was just over $3 million. So that is the amount that we're talking about spending today. So what are some of the things those funds can be used for? Some of the things that it can be used for are job skills and readiness training, financial literacy programs, grants and loans, financial assistance, economic development, housing development, workforce development, and youth development. It can also be used for re-entry and rehab services, mental health services, substance use disorders, treatment and recovery, and youth recreation. So you are here to tell us what you think funds raised from social equity excise fees should be used for. Once Danny Saeed opens the floor to our public comments, please remember to tell us your name, your organization, your county and municipality, or if there's an organization you're representing, and give us your ideas. Each speaker has 3 minutes to speak. Danny, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel Saeed. I will be calling out the names of the registered speakers that have registered to speak for this round of the CEF hearings. The first name I'm going to call is Dawn Bergner Thompson. If you're in the room, please raise your hand so that I can allow permission to speak. Okay, I will come back to Dawn because I don't see Dawn on the list. Rada Serban. Okay, I see Rada. Okay, Rada, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hi, my name is Rada Serban. I'm a certified public accountant and certified management accountant. I'm the founder and CEO of Highly Elevated CPA. I work in both states, New York and New Jersey, and I work with a lot of cannabis operators, cultivators, and manufacturers included. I also do have a bachelor in chemical engineering, and the reason I'm telling that, so you guys are aware of my background and why am I proposing, what am I proposing. Social equity excise fee is really, as a previous speaker mentioned, is being collected from the cultivator. The cultivator is the one who's paying sort of that fee. So I believe it needs to kind of also be around the cultivator and manufacturing, and in particular, cannabis production uses a lot of energy. You know, when the plants are grown indoors, it also consumes large amounts of water, generates certain waste, and obviously there are certain smells. So my proposal is really tailored towards creating a scholarships to fund a degree or education in chemical engineering related to cannabis. And it's really, it will help to sort of create a workforce with a technical chemistry knowledge of cannabis. It will help establish really like find a processes that efficient. And my recommendation really for the scholarship to be tailored towards social equity applicants, whether the adults of social equity adults or their kids. So it really benefits them. There's really a lack of qualified extraction technicians, growers, somebody who actually knows the biology and chemistry. So my recommendation is really to fill that gap and provide that specialized education and resources via scholarship. Another recommendation is also, since the cannabis is federally illegal, there is not enough research that are funded about the energy efficiency and all the cannabis growing, how it affects the environment and what needs to be done. Because it's federally illegal, the departments such as Department of Education or Energy, they're not allowed to do this type of research. However, if the state allocates certain amounts for that particular research, I think that will also benefit the public. And again, with the scholarship for the colleges, for the education, there will be direct internship also. We have a lot of cultivators and we have a lot of manufacturers, and the students can actually get a practical experience on the premises. So that's pretty much my recommendation. Creating a scholarship for the chemical engineering related to cannabis and fund energy research related to energy efficiency. That's it.
Thank you so much, Renata. I will now go on to the next name. Al Kamara, if you're in the room, please raise your hand. Okay, I see you, Al. I'm gonna allow you to speak. Al?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, Communications Director Tony Ann Blake and the members of the NJCRC. My name is Al Kamara. I am a cannabis educator, social justice activist, and CEO of Spark 9 Dispensary. Thank you for giving the public the opportunity to speak and help address the issues we're facing currently in the cannabis industry. My thoughts on how the cannabis tax revenue should be used for social equity projects are creating a grant program similar to the NJEDA's Equity Seed Grant, making it available only for social equity and diversely owned businesses. The state has made millions upon millions of dollars in tax revenue. And if we're talking about helping people who are mostly impacted by the war on drugs or people that live in disadvantaged areas, the CRC can definitely give back to these people seeking startup cash to at least have a shot in competing in this industry. Secondly, for my conditional license holders looking to convert over to an annual license, I believe if you're a social equity applicant that found property and is working on township approval, there should be some type of reimbursement plan or program that helps that applicant to not burn cash while waiting for a response from the township or the CRC. I know there's been countless of people expressing their frustration on running out of capital due to long wait periods and they're pretty much stuck on leases with no approvals at all. That assistance would have an outstanding outcome for social equity and diversely owned businesses. Third, with the cannabis tax revenue, the CRC should assist funding community-based organizations that work to address the root of causes such as social inequality, poverty, housing instability, and lack of access to healthcare. This will be a great look on the CRC, ensuring that the cannabis legalization has positive impact on society as a whole. As we stated, during previous hearings, the governor and the legislator need to allocate more direct funding if New Jersey is going to be serious about realizing social equity investments necessary to right the wrongs of the failure drug war. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Al. I'm going to the next name on the list, Christopher Henson. All right, Chris, I see you. One second.
All right,
Chris?
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christopher Henson. I am the owner and CEO of Hazy Harvest Dispensary. It's Hudson County, Jersey City. Actually, it's in the conversion phase, so hopefully that'll be soon. So, when I think about the CEF fund, I really think of, the repair and all the damage that has been done from the war on drugs. So I think about things like repair and how can we use this money to repair some of the damage that is brought on to all communities. And so I've broken it down in 3 ways. The first is enterprise and entrepreneurship. Second is education, changing the public perception. And the third is area renewal and revitalization. Now, with enterprise and entrepreneurship, very simply, basically, grants and other scholarships for cannabis operators and startups to give people who, especially in communities that have been affected from the war on drugs, an opportunity to have some of the startup funds and cost, as in terms of rent or any kind of training they may need, even counseling or advice. And that leads me to my second point of that, enterprise and entrepreneurship, which is small business coaching and mentorship. Now, to give people, help to try to start a business, to give them information they need, and even when they start, coaching them and ongoing coaching and mentorship to help them kind of get through all the bumps and the knowledge that you need to run a successful daily business. The second, education and changing public perception. Simply with that, basically public advertising and billboards. I think from the war on drugs, there's a perception that cannabis is a very dangerous drug, like any kind of very harsh drug like crack cocaine or heroin. But in the contrary, we know that cannabis, is very much like I like to think, like taking a multivitamin of cannabinoids and terpenes that can go, and as medical science has found, can alleviate a lot of autoimmune dysfunctions and other mental ailments. So there's a lot of health benefits in that. And I think the money should go towards, changing the public perception on that and getting more acceptance. The second one, part of that would be after school programs in terms of, after school programs, teaching children how to garden, agriculture and horticulture. Cannabis has a large agricultural element. And I think with that fund, just teach children the benefits of a natural world and, planting and the joys of planting and whatnot. And the third area of renewal and revitalization, simply to go back to the other idea, community gardens. We can use some of the funds to plant trees, to put greenery on top of buildings and roofs, like we see in some cities in Europe, helps with CO2 emissions, and just go to, promote park activities and even create new parks, really trying to build up public playgrounds and parks for all children. And the last part of that would be affordable housing, giving people an opportunity to, in terms of, funding projects to revitalize neighborhoods and housing for people low income, or even giving people a little bit of money, maybe even pay their rent per month. So there's a lot of ways that we can use the money to, but I think the main way we should use is, revitalizing and helping out the affected communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christopher. The next person on the list, Nishal Santos. I see that you have your hand raised. I'm gonna allow you to speak now.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon. I'm Nishal Santos, CEO of Canna Coverage Insurance and New Jersey State Co-Director of Minorities for Medical Marijuana. And I want to thank the members of the CRC for providing this framework for social equity within the regulation, and the legislators for creating the fund. Now we must revise the formula to reflect restoration for social impact, because we are more than just 1/3 of 1%. I have seen firsthand the challenges new entrepreneurs face in this industry, and I think it's critically important to draw parallels between the journey of the civil rights movement in the 60s and how we can improve to attempt to right the wrongs of the failed war on drugs and the damage done to Black and Brown communities. The C Fund in 2022 generated tax revenue of nearly $12 million, while CEEP collected $444,000. In 2023, the medicinal and recreational sales exceeded 800 million, and overall the market has exceeded 1.3 billion in sales, and at 6.625% sales tax. That's 66 million, 70% of that being close to 2/3 is like 40 million in tax revenue that's supposed to be distributed. And my question is that the best we can do is to allocate only 1.275 million for CEEP from this fiscal year 2023? We are more than just 1/3 of 1%. I have concerns about the concept of CEEP and the funding mechanisms that were intended and put in place with regard to the fees and taxes concerning cannabis that now must be addressed through legislation. So while I agree that social equity funding and the necessity to advocate for the money's proper allocation is necessary, However, it's grossly insufficient to address the comprehensive plan recommended by the CRC to provide financial assistance to organizations and government entities, including municipalities designated as impact zone, as we provide financial assistance to individuals to create, expand, or promote educational and economic opportunities and activities and the health and well-being of both communities and individuals. That is far too monumental a goal for $1.275 million to accomplish effectively. If we want to achieve success of CEEP, we also need to revisit the interpretation of the definition of the impact zones. So I know I'm running out of time, so much more needs to be done, and I look forward to working with the CRC. Thank you.
Thank you, Nishal. Just a reminder, you can also submit the reminder for everyone, you can also submit your written comments on our website by tomorrow, March 29th by 8 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. The next person on the list I see is Tanisha Gibbs. If you're in the room, please raise your, all right, I see you, Tanisha. Tanisha, are you able
Yes.
to? Okay, perfect.
Yes, hi. Thank you so much. My name is Tanisha Gibbs. I am from the New Jersey School Age Child Care Coalition, NJSAC. We are New Jersey's after school and out of school time professional network located in Westfield, New Jersey of Union County. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony to the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission. NJSAC envisions a New Jersey where every child has access to high quality and inclusive out of school time programs that provide equitable and diverse experiences that maximize the full potential for all youth, families, and communities. Using adult use cannabis tax revenue to support the after school and out of school time programs is a critical equity strategy for reinvesting in New Jersey's under-resourced neighborhoods, preventing substance abuse, misuse, and also for creating more equitable, thriving communities across our state. After school programs provide a substantial return on investment. With every $1 invested, there is at least $3 savings through increasing youth earning potential, improving their performance at school, and reducing crime and juvenile delinquency. For every child in an out-of-school time program in New Jersey, 3 more will participate if a program were accessible. Consequently, 454,931 children, which is 32%, would have been enrolled in an out-of-school time program if one were available to them. Alaska, California, Vermont, Colorado, and New York have already linked revenue from legalized marijuana sales to after-school and out-of-school time programming. And some of these states have done so in the upwards of $4 billion. New Jersey is well positioned to follow suit. NJSAC submits the following recommendations for consideration. NJSAC recommends that New Jersey dedicate at least 25% of revenue from the taxation of adult use cannabis to expand access to after school and out of school time across the state, particularly reinvesting funds in those communities hardest hit by the drug use epidemic. We suggest that you establish a community reinvestment grant program to support the goal of universal after school and out of school time. That fund would award grants to all eligible after school and out of school time programs, including licensed and subsidized programs. That fund would also award grants to youth prevention organizations that offer college and career readiness. We also suggest to support and sustain out of school time and future teacher workforce. Given the pressing staffing shortage across out of school time and education sectors in New Jersey, there exists a critical need to cultivate a diverse and resilient workforce. We also suggest funding an education career pathway through out of school time. New Jersey should offer stipends to high school and college age students, encouraging their employment with after school and summer programs. Emphasizing the utilization of the state's diverse student population can lay the foundation for a robust career. New Jersey's youth need and deserve safe and enriching after school and out of school time programs to aid in their development. Using tax revenue from adult use cannabis to fund youth development programs, including after school and out of school time, is a good first step in social equity and community reinvestment. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanisha. The next name on the list is Wadiha Jackson. If you're in the meeting, please raise your hand. I don't see Wadiha. I will call the next name, Corey Webb. If you're in the meeting, please raise your hand so I can allow you to speak. Okay, I don't see that person. The next person is Chris Goldstein. Okay, I don't see that person. Next person on the list is Naima Terry. If you're in the room or in the meeting, please raise your hand. Okay, I don't see Naima. Next person on the list is Jessie Marie Villers. I do see your hand raised. Jessie, hi.
Hi,
The floor's yes, I can hear you. The floor is yours.
Hello, thank you NJCRC for the opportunity to speak today. I'm Jessie Marie Villers, owner and CEO of Baked by the River Dispensary, micro business retail dispensary open in Lambertville. I greatly appreciate the commission that you continue to hold these regional hearings to get input from the public on how cannabis tax revenue for the industry should be implemented here in New Jersey. I hope to see cannabis tax revenue used first and foremost to address the damages done by the war on drugs. Cannabis tax revenue should be used to benefit the individuals directly harmed by cannabis prohibition and the Black and brown communities hardest hit by the drug war policing. Part of this could be through supporting community organizations, workforce development programs, nonprofits, and re-entry programs throughout the state that are already set up to support this mission. The state cannot undo the harm done by the years of the war on drugs, but it has the opportunity now to use tax revenue from this industry to do right by the individuals that have been hardest hit. I would also like to see cannabis tax revenue used to fund harm reduction programs for opioid use disorder, especially in impact zones. According to the state-by-state statistics from the Center of Disease Control, the rate of heroin overdose in New Jersey is 3 times the national average. The New Jersey Medical Marijuana Program already has opioid use disorder listed as one of the diagnoses that can qualify a patient for prescription here in New Jersey, which is incredible and already has been proven to save lives. But if cannabis is not accessible to those patients, it's not a realistic treatment option. Right now, we don't have a single rehab facility in the state that allows for the use of a cannabis prescription. A cannabis prescription is also not covered by insurance, and home grow is still a felony. So realistically, cannabis as a harm reduction option would be one of the most expensive and least accessible options for someone in early stages of recovery from opioid addiction. I would like to see some of the tax revenue from cannabis go to funding harm reduction facilities in the state and help cover prescription costs for patients in need. Supporting harm reduction programs, mental health programs, and community response teams to address the ongoing opioid epidemic in our state should be a priority, and first and foremost, supporting these programs in high impact zones in our state. Investing in these types of programs instead of law enforcement will help to support communities that have been harmed by unjust enforcement of the war on drugs. It would be great to see a larger percentage of the New Jersey cannabis tax revenue going to the social equity excise fee, not just $1.24 per ounce of cannabis sold, which is the current social equity excise fee and is actually less than last year's standards of $1.52 per ounce of cannabis sold. Cannabis industry has made more than $1.3 billion in sales since April 2022, and the sales keep increasing. So the percentage of revenue going to social equity excise fee should be going up and not down. The rate of the social equity excise fee is not sufficient to meet the needs of the programs that have been mentioned here in this hearing. And I really would like to see more opportunity for the public to be able to comment on what the majority of the cannabis or a greater percentage of the cannabis tax revenue in the state is actually going towards. And I really appreciate the time, and I'll also be sending in my comment in written form after this meeting. So again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Jessie. The next name on the list is Fay Coleman, and I do see your hand raised. Wait, hold on. What happened to Fay? Okay, Fay, you have the floor.
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Perfect. Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank the CRC and Wesley McWide for allowing the opportunity to discuss strategies for use of the Social Equity Excise Fee Fund. My name is Fay Coleman, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Pure Genesis. We are a minority women business enterprise, and we are looking to open a cannabis dispensary and consumption lounge in Atlantic City. For PG, we believe there are 3 areas of focus for the funds. First, do we have enough? Second, how can funds be appropriately designated, and how can we track the progress? As we look at, do we have enough funds? With the 1/3 of 1% excise tax, we believe that is absolutely way too low. Our recommendation is to allocate a minimum of 30% of tax revenue, which represents the percent of population of Black and Brown communities, and to have those monies directed back to the communities, as well as new businesses and the CRC. With an increase in funds for the CRC, we believe they can deploy more resources to support application reviews and approvals for openings. We believe funds allocated to date through the NJEDA and the resources through the NJBAC are a great start. However, much more absolutely needs to be done. Is it possible to have a CDFI or a Community Development Financial Institution Fund work in conjunction with the NJEDA and the private sector to provide grants and loans to diversely owned cannabis startups? The African American Chamber of Commerce is looking at this opportunity, and with their significant diverse business community engagement, they could facilitate this opportunity. We believe this is a great idea because the sole purpose of a CDFI is to inject new sources of capital into neighborhoods and businesses that lack access. As we talk about allocation of funds, we really need to break it into 3 buckets, being pre-startup, startup, and first year operating. For pre-startup, we can look at funds for CPA, legal to support municipality engagement, architect application, and facility support. For startup, there could be funds for marketing, bud tender training, as well as operational readiness consultation desperately needed. For first year operating, we need to consider support for on-site business consultation as we look at operational effectiveness in terms of daily ops, inventory management, customer engagement, compliance, profitability, and funds to support growth and bridge loans. That's allocation. As our last thought is around how do we track progress? Is there an opportunity to create a portal that would track money spent, resources available, and how those resources are being utilized? A survey, maybe twice a year, maybe an opportunity to allow for direct and timely feedback from applicants and business owners on the execution of how funds are distributed and utilized. This will allow for an opportunity to move forward with better solutions with better input. Those are our thoughts. Thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing how this process will positively impact our businesses and ultimately our communities.
Thank you so much, Faye. The next name on the list is Talitha Turner. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. All right, I see you, Talitha.
I'm mute. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. The floor is yours.
Good day. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Talitha Turner, and I'm here today as the voice of countless families who have been shattered by the repercussions of mass incarceration and the criminalization of marijuana. I am the executive director at Second Chance Quest. We're a small nonprofit that works tirelessly to mend the broken pieces left behind when a loved one is taken away to prison. In our community, crime, poverty, and drugs have created a web of despair so thick it's suffocating. Every day, my organizations and many other small boots on ground organizations witness firsthand the heartbreaking consequences. Children growing up without fathers, mothers struggling to make ends meet, and caregivers burdened with the sudden responsibility of raising someone else's child. Amid this darkness, it's the small boots on ground organizations that shine beacons of hope. We roll up our sleeves and we dive in, supporting the men and women that have been cast aside by society. We work with men and women behind bars, striving to give them a second chance of redemption. We stand by their children, offering them support, guidance, and opportunity to experience the world beyond their struggles. We take their children on trips, exposing them to new opportunities. Recently, we started taking children into Essex County Correctional Facility for family rehabilitation focused visits. Yet, despite our best efforts, we are constantly faced with the harsh reality of limited resources. Funding is scarce, and as a small org, we find ourselves overlooked in favor of larger, more established entities. We're forced to stretch every dollar or mold our vision and goals to fit into someone else's agenda just to be able to get work done. And here's the thing, the criminalization of marijuana is at the root of so much of the despair in our community. It's the reason why so many parents are torn from their homes, leaving behind fractured families and single parent households struggling to survive. It's a cycle of poverty and injustice that we cannot afford to ignore. That's why I'm here today, urging you to consider the true impact of this fund. This money is not just another line item on a budget. It's a lifeline for communities like ours. It's an opportunity to heal the wounds of the past and pave a real future for generations to come. Let's not forget who really benefits from this funding: the youth, the children. They are the innocent casualties of a war they never asked to fight. They are the ones who bear the weight of our failures and the promises of our redemption. They deserve better. They deserve a chance to thrive, to dream, and to believe that tomorrow holds something better than today. So I implore you to prioritize organizations like ours, the small ones, the ones doing the real work on the ground with real families who have been impacted by the injustices of the past. We are the ones who know what it takes to make a difference, who understands the true value of every dollar poured into our community. Together, let's make sure that the seed funds go where they need it most, to the grassroots organizations that are fighting tooth and nail to bring hope, healing, and opportunities to those who need it most. Our children are counting on us. So please help the little folks, help the little folks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Talitha. The next name on the list is Tariq Witcher. If you're in the room, I see you. All right. Tariq, the floor is yours.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to the commission and for all those in attendance. My name is Tariq Witcher. I am justice impacted individual, formerly incarcerated, having served over 20 years in New Jersey state prisons. I am a co-founder and director of the Returnee Citizen Support Group based in Newark, New Jersey at 32 Prince Street. We are a grassroots organization of formerly incarcerated men and women and community members who actually work tirelessly day in and day out to make sure that our brothers and sisters do not return to the carceral space. We offer a plethora of services, including family reunification efforts, trauma-informed care, housing opportunities, employment and educational opportunities, but we are severely underfunded and under-recognized by state entities. We need funding, and funding, some of the seed funding needs to come back to us. The root of a lot of the convictions that resulted in our years of incarceration, most of my members or our members have served decades in prisons for different offenses, but most of it started out with marijuana convictions, as with myself. In 1992, I was caught with marijuana in school. I was actually expelled from school. I was sent to a drug program with hardcore IV drug abusers, and it did not work for me. It did not fit with me. I did not belong there. I ultimately got my GED and moved on from there. But unfortunately, I ended up a victim of the carceral space and a victim of the war on drugs, just as with many of my other colleagues and friends and brothers and sisters. We are now here doing the work in the community. And I second what the previous speaker, Talitha Turner, said, that these small boots on the ground grassroots organizations are severely underfunded and we need funding. And some of the other speakers have spoke as well. What we are asking is that these seed funds actually reach the intended targets. The people that were suffered or the victims of the war on drugs, make sure that these funds are actually gotten to the right hands and not into the hands of larger reentry organizations that are actually probably have about 10% of their funds actually reach their intended targets. We want to make sure that people that were directly affected by the war on drugs are actually funded, make sure that these programs are effective, and that housing opportunities, employment, educational opportunities, trauma-informed care, family reunification efforts are seriously funded, and make sure that we do get our just due. And I thank you so much for this opportunity to speak. And we invite you to attend our support group, which meets every Thursday night, 6 to 8 p.m. at 32 Prince Street in Newark. All committee members and community members are welcome to attend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tariq. I'm going to call out the names of people that had registered to speak that didn't get a chance to speak. Once that's done, I will open up the floor to anyone else that would like to speak. The first name, Dawn Bergner Thompson. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. All right, moving on. Wadiha Jackson. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. Next is Corey Webb. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. Chris Goldstein. And Naima Terry. Okay, that looks like to be the list for the registered speakers. If anyone else would like to speak and leave comment on the CEF funds, please raise your hand and I'll allow you to speak. Also, as a reminder, if you don't want to speak, but you can leave comments on our website. The comment period, written comments is open up until tomorrow, Friday, March 29th at until 8 p.m. Tony Ann, that looks to be everyone that wishes to speak.
Thank you, Danny. And thank you, everyone who participated today. Now, let me stop this clock. Thank you for your public comments and for the written comments that have already been submitted. Remember, you can submit written comments up until tomorrow at 8 p.m. We invite as many of you with as many ideas as possible to submit those comments and to give us your recommendations for what to do with these CEF funds. As many of our commenters said today, $3 million is not a lot of money, but it is set in regulation that the social equity excise fee will go up every year, year over year, as the cannabis prices go down. So we invite you to keep that in mind, that 3 million this year may be more the next and more the next. We appreciate your time today, and we invite you to stay engaged with the NJCRC. Our next public meeting is on Thursday, April 11. Information about the meeting, including a link to watch on YouTube, is on our website. Other things you can do on our website, besides finding information about everything cannabis related in New Jersey, you can sign up for our newsletter. You can read our blog. You can listen to our monthly podcast, and you can download safety collateral. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your input. Have a good afternoon.